Hey everyone, Tiffany here. Just wanted to hop on and do another book review. If you haven't listened or watched our interview with Elle Wood, I think it was a month, maybe 2 months ago, go ahead and check that out because we are going to be talking about two of her books, The Vault and The Alliance. So with these, I gave them both 5 stars. So this is a little bit of science fiction, a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of romance. It's just a nice mix of a lot of different things. The first book is The Vault. We have our main character, Harper. She is in this secret underground sort of lab space where she has no memories prior to being in the vault, and she is being trained for combat. All of the people there are being experimented on, and she and a group of people get together and end up escaping. And that's not a spoiler, it's on the back of the book. So they end up escaping. Not everyone makes it though. And throughout all of this, she also starts to realize that she has electrical powers, which are super cool. So when she gets out, she comes across Miles. I love Miles, and he is a cop, and so he starts helping her try to figure out where the rest of her friends are. She wants to rescue them and get them out of that lab setting. So the first book really goes over their whole journey of trying to find people that are still left in the lab. She also gets to meet some people from her past to help maybe kind of stir some of the memories up. And so those moments are very sweet. And I really love that those characters are very gentle with Harper. You can tell that they're excited to see her again, a little bit sad that she may not remember them fully, but they're so kind and gentle with her. It's very sweet. And then watching her and Miles and their sort of friendship situationship grow throughout the first book is very sweet as well. So that kind of takes us through the first book. And then we have The Alliance, which is book 2. So we're still following lovely Harper. And in this book, it's more focused on, you learn some things in book 1. One of them, which again is on the back, so I'm making sure that I'm not doing too many spoilers. You find out that there's something in Harper's DNA that the bad guy wants. And I'm not going to say who the bad guy is. Y'all can learn that when you read the books yourself. But he is on the hunt for Harper. And you have these other people that are working with him. They're called Hybrians. I think that's how you pronounce it. Elle, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. But they are similar to X-Men. And I know Elle has said before, both of these books is kind of like an X-Men and Maze Runner mix. So you have these Hybrians who can transform into these creatures, and everyone has a little bit different powers, and you'll learn in the second book how that happens. But essentially, this bad guy is trying to get Harper's DNA so that he can create more serum to create more Hybrians, and he pretty much wants to take over the whole world at this point. You figure out later on in the second book why he's doing it and what some of his motivation is. Not that it makes it any better, but sometimes it could be nice to understand, why are you such a bad person? And trying not to give spoilers. Something big happens with Harper and Miles, and they go through months of heavy trials, I think is the best way to put it. Harper gets out of those trials. Miles is still left. So now her goal, working with the Alliance, so we figure out who the Alliance is, what they do, all of that good stuff. They are working together to try to get Miles out of the current trials that he's going through. And I will say, I messaged Elle as I was reading, and I said, I I am very upset with what's happening with Miles. I know you're going to tell me to keep reading, but I just want you to know I'm very upset. So there is a moment in the second book where if you love Miles as a character, your heart is going to break a little bit. It is okay. Keep reading because the ending is lovely, especially with Miles and Harper. There is a character death that made me very sad. Not going to say who, so that would be a big spoiler, but he was a lovely side character. So it's just, there's so many twists and turns. It's very action packed. I love seeing all of the characters' different powers. I think that's a very cool touch. And I also love seeing Harper's character growth from book 1 to book 2. And I mean, if you think about it, you have this, I think she's 19 in book 1, and she is essentially coming to the surface after being in this underground lab for years. I think it's years, for a long time. She's coming back up to the surface and doesn't remember anything about anything up in the real world. And so she's, in a sense, kind of starting over, learning things over again. And so I can only imagine how overwhelming that must feel, and still have this mission of I need to get my other friends out of there, I need to rescue them, while also I need to not get captured by this bad guy. So many heavy things for a teenager, and to be able to see her work through that. She has some lows, she has times where she's really struggling, and I think one of the things that I really picked up out of this is, you know, sometimes we try to just handle our problems on our own, and sometimes it can work, but when you really rely on your loved ones to help support you, that's where you're going to get through it the most. And being able to be there for each other, support one another, rely on one another, and allowing others to be there for you, I think that was one of the big things that I got out of both books. I just really love seeing all of the characters really just work together and support one another, and just get through all the craziness that was happening. So again, The Vault, The Alliance by Elle Wood, I gave 5 out of 5 stars for both on Goodreads. So definitely check them out. I'm pretty sure you'll have to check the interview to double check me, but I'm pretty sure she said that this is a finished duology, and it ends fantastic. There's no weird cliffhangers or anything. It's beautiful. So keep an eye out for more book reviews and more interviews coming up. We'll talk to you later. Bye.